Welcome to the Rob and Kale podcast. Welcome to the Rob and Kale podcast. Rob and Kale podcast. Rob Sanders.
Clemson is going to kick the shit out of the South Carolina Gamecocks probably for the next 10 years every time they run across each other.
Kale Carolina Jackpot Hall.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are weaker than a plate full of piss.
The Rob and Kale podcast.
Let's go.
And welcome into the Rob and Kale podcast. My name is Rob Sanders. Joining me tonight, back from parts unknown, back from his night off, in his Gamecock, I hope he wasn't just smelling a shoe there. He is Mr. Carolina Jackpot, Kale Hall. Kale, what's up, buddy?
What is up, guys? How's everybody doing this evening?
Good, my friend. It's good to have you back with us, man. I told everybody you had the night off. I figured if you wanted to tell everybody you were working or whatever.
You lied to them because I was working late, so I didn't have the night off. I had the night away from the podcast.
Hold on now. Let's be honest here. I didn't want to come across as, putting out Jackpot's business. I didn't want to do that. So if you wanted to tell people where you were, I just said you had the night off. Night off from the show. Same thing. I didn't lie.
Okay. We won't get into the semantics of that. And yeah, I did just smell a shoe. I was making sure there wasn't a turd in there because there's a little pug on the loose somewhere, and she's like a jack in the box. And there's no telling where that stuff will wind up at.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that you gotta check your shoes for whatever.
Well, everybody should always check their shoes with either the eye or the smell test before you put them on. I mean, there could be a brown recluse spider hiding in there. You never know.
There could be some cucumbers in there, which would flip out the Undertaker.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, Jackpot. What do you want to get into this evening, man? We're at a weird point here where we have the national championship game. Where, I mean, judging by my Twitter feed and Facebook feed and the just general folks that I follow, there are not a lot of people around the South that are watching this game because Michigan and Washington are playing in it. And the Alabama people are like, fuck it, not my national champion. I'm not watching any of this shit. Alabama should be there on the eye test. That's how a lot of those folks feel. But that's kind of where we are right now. Would you agree?
No, I think you're kind of doing your shit on the SEC routine like you always do.
No, sir. I was not.
I think
I
it's
was
probably
not
going to be one
shitting
of the
on the
highest
SEC.
rated. Everybody's looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a great game. I think everybody in the country thinks it's going to be a great game. It's definitely going to be a better game than last year's. I mean, it can't not. So this is going to be, strength on strength. You got the number 2 offense in the country taking on the number 1 defense in the country, or maybe it's the number 1 pass offense in the country. But anyway, it's just a strength on strength type thing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that's because you're an actual fan. I'm talking about the casual fans, the folks that only watch just for their team. I think I don't think it's going to be the most highly rated. I think that there's going to be, people are going to watch, but I don't know. I feel like there's a good section of folks that are just like, yeah, I don't really care since there's not a team from the South, whether regardless of it's the SEC, the ACC, or whatever. I think there's a section of folks that have kind of tuned out.
Well, there are a lot of football fans here in the South. I mean, no doubt, but so I think a lot of people watch. I really do. I mean, for this reason too alone. Let's just face it. A lot of people are going to be pulling for. I think most of the country is going to be pulling for Washington. Whenever you have a strong villain, you know this as well as I do from our wrestling fandom. When you've got a really strong villain there, as kind of the protagonist, kind of telling a story, it really draws a lot of people in.
Yeah. Well, I kind of agree on that, but I mean, is Michigan the villain here? I mean, a lot of people don't like him because of the sign stealing stuff, but on the other hand,
I think a lot of people don't like him because Jim Harbaugh he's just a freaking super douche. It's weird. I mean, if you just listen to his interviews, I mean, he is basically Shane Beamer with a good team. He says something stupid almost every time. Says something weird almost every time he's interviewed. It's kind of comical, but it's not.
But he wins games, though. I mean, he's won everywhere he's been. Whether it's Stanford with the smart kids, the NFL with the 40, he was 44-19 with the 49ers. I read that stat. I was like, holy shit, 25 games over 500 in a 64 game or 63 game stretch. That's pretty damn good in the NFL with the parity that's out there. And he's won everywhere. It's like the dude's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, I don't think people dislike him because of his coaching prowess. Like I said, they just don't like him because he's just a weird guy, and people don't like weird. So
someone said he cuts his own grass. Now, I think that's great. I mean, he's the working man there, but if you're a Michigan fan, it's like, wait a minute, you spend 2.5 hours, 3 hours a week cutting your grass. You could be doing something better, I mean, I can't think that's why some people are like, what is this guy doing? But I don't know.
To me, that's one of those things. I cut mine too. And not that I make tons of money, but I mean, I could afford to let someone cut the grass for me, but I like to cut it myself. Number one, because it gives me like the little bit of exercise I can get during summer. I get a good deep sweat going on Sunday afternoon. It feels good. It makes the body feel good. Number two, it's one of those things that I just think that's something a man should be doing. I think if you're a guy and you live in a neighborhood and there are other guys that drive by and know that you're a guy and you live there, and they see some 16-year-old riding around on one of those little things that looks like a half tractor, half riding lawnmower, you just look like a woman. You know what I mean? It's kind of like back in the day. Like I would never, I'd never let my. Now I do nowadays because because I'm old and lazy. But like, I would never let my girlfriend or whatever drive anywhere. Like, I would always had to be the person who drove the vehicle.
That's because you're a man's man. That's
Yeah,
what you are.
for some reason I just always thought that a guy riding around with a girl driving him around just looked like a lazy bum, like a deadbeat. I don't know why, and that might not be true, but that's the way I always felt about it.
Well, Gamecock Sporty joins the program. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Rob? What's up, Carolina Jackpot? How
I'm
you guys?
assuming that you're calling us from the University of South Carolina down
I
there.
am
the
indeed. First
He did.
day back tomorrow. First day back tomorrow.
There you go. You guys are back down there and getting your education. That's good.
Hey,
What do you have for the program, sir?
hey, I was gonna holler at you, hoping you would join tonight. I saw where you posted a video. I think it was maybe today or maybe yesterday about Mizzou's rise in the SEC,
Mhm.
and it was a really good piece. And I saw you got a lot of engagement on that, and I wanted to congratulate you on that. But apart from that, down in the comment section, I went in there and I kind of had words of some douche canoe who was kind of going back and forth at it with you about you don't know that Kansas City is not part of Kansas; it's part of Missouri.
I didn't
And
know how to
it was
handle
a
that.
state before we would do that. And I went in there and I told him, so let me get this right. You're the dickhead who has to be in every room, who has to take one little kernel of untruth and needle it to death to try to render an entire point useless.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
shithead. Some of
Yeah,
these
I mean,
people are getting a little bit too big for their britches, and I know. I don't want to say anything about it because I like Mizzou. I listened to the little Mazod cast this past week. After they beat Ohio State, that's great and everything. But they kind of act like they've arrived and they're going nowhere, and we're going to consistently win double-digit games.
Look,
I'm just not sold on the fact that that's true.
well, and by the way, let me throw this out there. I think you and I have been kind of pro Mizzou a little bit because I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we like the guys from the Mazodcast, and Mizzou's been an interesting story this year. They're 10-2. They did some great stuff with the football. But look, let's look at it from this perspective. Your defensive coordinator was putting out videos on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, on Instagram and stuff like that, saying, "Oh, I'm not fucking leaving." And then the next day, he left and went to LSU. The next day, within like 24 hours of putting something out there. Yeah. So you went from, you had a great season, and that's great. But in the end, your defensive coordinator said, fuck it. I'm leaving Columbia, Missouri to go to an SEC coordinator job down in LSU. And he's going to get more money. I get that, but it didn't take much. Brian Kelly came up there and said, hey, you want to come down here? We'll give you X amount of dollars. Okay, I'm gone.
That
means people aren't very, committed to the dork up there.
Was that the Instagram post he put out saying something about to drink? Thank you for making me the coach and the man that I am, the husband, the father. Yeah. Give me a break, okay?
Yeah,
he ain't all that. He might have give you some coaching tips there.
The point is that people look at your defensive coordinator job and say, you know what? I'd much rather go to LSU. That's a better job than what Mizzou is. Okay. Now, I do think Missouri's got an advantage over a lot of other folks because you can get your NIL money in high school there. One of the few states in the union that you can actually do that. So that's going to help them on the recruiting front. But this whole thing that Missouri has arrived, let's just slow down a little bit.
Well, Rob, that can also work. That can also work in this direction as well. They can take that money as a high schooler, come there for 1 year, and then hit transfer portal.
Right. Well, but the way that people are setting up a lot of things now, in my opinion, you have to look. Your roster is going to completely change from year to year. I give the Gamecocks shit for you lost 25 players. Whatever the hell the number is, it's 20 plus. But that's the norm everywhere. Your roster is going to be completely different every season. So, who knows?
Yeah. One of the things I was going to say is actually something Jackpot. I've heard Jackpot saying it has to do with a little bit of one of my videos. It's a different video though, but like you said something along the lines of I actually thought about it a little bit, and honestly, I've been inclined to agree with this. That what I said about Butch Jones and comparing him to Shane Beamer is honestly an insult to Butch Jones, because as bad as Butch Jones was at Tennessee, he at least won the MAC while he was at Central Michigan, and he won whatever conference Cincinnati was in while he was there. It might have been the Big East at the time.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, really, I mean, in all honesty, the Tennessee man, they want to jump on. They didn't like the guy, okay, because he had a bad locker room culture and this and that. But if they want to, take the blinders off for a minute, he had one really bad season in 2017 where everything fell apart. They lost all their SEC games. A couple of them by really close margins, thin margins. Lost to South Carolina by 6 points, in which we had to bat down a fourth down pass at the goal line to win that game, and they lost to Kentucky by 3 points. And in 2013, he had a bad
Didn't
year.
they lose to Vanderbilt too that year?
Yes.
He almost beat
They were-
Georgia. He almost beat Georgia.
he inherited a dumpster fire in 2013. He took them to a bowl in 2014. 2015, he had a really good team. I think they won 9 or 10 games. 2016, I mean, they lost to the Gamecocks, lost their chance at the SEC East Championship, but they beat Georgia that year, beat Florida for the first time in God knows how long. So, I mean, he wasn't all bad. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
They make him out like he was the opposite of the opposite of anything that a football coach should say, do, action out, or be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
I was this close to another point I was going to make. I was this close to changing my name from Gamecock Sporty to Fire Locked On Gamecocks, because that man's made me pissed off for so many dang reasons, man.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about with that, and it's like
The Sunshine Pumper.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, but he has to. The way that Locked On stuff works, he's got to put out content every day, and I guess I can put this out there. They wanted Jackpot and I, when they started that stuff years ago, like 2 years ago, to be the Locked On version for them. So like we'd have to put out podcasts every day. And when you have to put out that much content every day, they wanted us to do it for South Carolina and Clemson when they pitched it to us. But I didn't think that, first of all, Jackpot's a busy dude, and I love his stuff. But the idea of, hey, you have to put out something every day, that's just too much fucking work for anyone. And not getting guaranteed money too, that's craziness. But when you do that, you end up finding shit that you can get interaction, so that hopefully you can reach the goal that they have for you, so you get some money from ad buys. So I think that's why that guy puts out so much nonsense, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just the defeat. I don't know. The one thing that the last straw for me, I don't know if you feel this way, Jackpot, but the last straw for me was it's a good thing that we didn't make a bowl game take. I mean, it just seemed very defeatist and very just not a. That's my opinion.
He said that?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know when that could ever be a bad thing. I mean, you're getting 15 extra practices. They need practice. How is that a bad thing? It's a money maker. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you go to the damn Dollar Genitals Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. It's still going to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get paid something for it. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Well, and here's something else that I've learned is that, yes, you get 15 practices, but there are coaches that don't use all 15 of those practices. I think Ohio State used 6 of them, is what I read. So they had an opportunity for 15, and they used 6 of them.
They looked like it.
Yeah, and they look like a pile of to quote Jackpot, a pile of homemade shit. So there's that too. I mean, if I were a coach, I would literally, especially with the bowl system the way it is now, if I have guys that I even think are remotely thinking about, all right, transferring or heading to the NFL, it's okay, fellas, head out. You know what we're going to do? We're going to run a JV bowl game. We're going to put all of our freshmen and sophomores out there that are committed to the program, and we're going to see what the hell we got. against somebody else that's not us. That's the most logical thing to do. Put the guys in there that hadn't gotten any snaps. I don't understand why most coaches don't do that. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It made me so angry. I had to be careful that I can't go out and defame people. That's going to get me in trouble.
How would it get you in trouble? It would get you in trouble with the school?
No,
what am I missing here?
No, for calling out Locked On Gamecocks and just like, I don't know.
Why?
Stuff like that.
Why?
Because people are going to see that.
Your balls are probably bigger than his. Tell him, fuck off. You're putting out content that's stupid. Don't cater to idiots. Gamecock fans are smarter than what you're putting out there, sir. Stop catering to the low hanging fruit.
He won't. You can check my comments on that video. He won't reply. He will literally leave.
Well, he won't because he wants the interaction. But I mean, if it's really bothering you to the point where you're questioning him as him putting out stuff that's making your fan base look stupid, go tell him about it.
I would call out anything that you think is dumb. I'd put some clips from there in there too. Heck, I did it the other night. Some of Sports Talk Jay's video that I thought which I like the guy. I'm not going to take a big dump on him. He's a good YouTuber. He does good stuff. His channel's just blown up huge. But I mean, he was having this big love fest with Nico, and I had to call him out on it a little bit on some of that dumb crap. But yeah, and then I actually put in a clip from Talking Vols on there too. So I revisited them. I said I was never going to mention them again, and once again I stray away from what I said I'm going to do. But I just too irresistible.
I know. I firmly believe that you know your stuff, sir. And if you want to go out and challenge that guy, have at it. And if he doesn't come back at you, then he looks like a eunuch. And if he does, then go to war with him. You might win. Who knows? I mean, who knows at this juncture? You know what I mean? But if somebody really gets under your nerves that bad, just go to it.
And one more guy on Twitter. I'm trying to remember I think it might be it was the guy that did this. Oh, like comparing the Gator Bowl attendance. He's like, oh, look at the South Carolina Gator Bowl attendance compared to the Clemson. I'm like, just shut up. Nobody cares.
You're talking about was it a Clemson? Was it Shadow of Death Valley? Because that guy's great.
No. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about it's a South Carolina fan. It's not.
Okay.
It's a South Carolina fan that was bragging about our bowl game attendance at the Gator Bowl compared to Clemson's.
Yeah, well, I think that the average fan would be like, who gives a shit? We're on the Couch Bowl. That's where we are. We're not. We're gonna fucking pick at Clemson or any other team for being in the bowl game. That's stupid.
Gamecock Country. Chuck? That's who it is on Twitter.
Gamecock Country.
Yes.
Gamecock Chuck.
No.
Gamecock Chuck's not stupid.
No, Gamecock Chuck was talking about the attendance in the bowl game, and he was saying that the Clemson fans, a lot of them didn't go to that game. He felt like because they have bigger fish to fry, and they think they should be competing for championships. And we just made a bigger deal out of it. But I mean, that's kind of passe. Those championships are so far away they can't see them with a satellite dish right now. But their program's really far off from that. But still.
I just don't think we have the room to talk trash when we are sitting on the couch going 5-7 and losing.
We can always talk trash. I don't care. I'm going to make fun of Tennessee for they're hyping up this toothpick.
Nico, I'm about to leave you.
Do something against a team that's valid. Oh, they said Iowa was a top 10 team. No, they weren't. They were a top 10 defense. Iowa was weird. That was a weird team. How do you win 10 games but you barely score over a touchdown a game?
Well, maybe that's because we've been fed the narrative that the Big Ten is like, just this great conference, but in all actuality, they didn't play any offenses that were worth a shit all season. So that's kind of like with the game tomorrow night. Like, I mean, has Michigan played an offense that's really good? I don't think so. Tell me about an offense they played that's really good. They put up great numbers, but there's no really good offense in the Big Ten. It really isn't. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. What else you got there, buddy?
Caleb Elkins over in the comment section says, Jackpot, you said in your video that none of the South Carolina linebackers had anything close to 100 tackles, but Debo Williams had well over 100 tackles. Yeah, well, I mean, I make a mistake every now and again, too. You can grill me for it. Okay.
Yeah, well.
No, I had one last question for Jackpot. What do you think
God damn
about
it, Jackpot.
what do you think about the what do you think about the transfer portal? Like, do you feel like it's just like, I don't know, like I remember one of your video titles saying, "Is Shane Beamer building a program or a sandcastle?" or something like that.
Well, I mean, I did one just a little bit ago that I said that everybody talks about he's cooking, Beamer's cooking. I said he's cooking. I say he looks like he's destined for Huddle House. Because look, hey, look, I was just looking at 24/7 Sports. We snapped up. We are now currently actually behind Mizzou in the transfer portal rankings. They've took 9 transfer portal picks. We've took 15. But out of those 15, they have 5, 4, and 3-star ratings. Out of those 15, only 9 of those guys have a 3, 4, or 5-star rating. That means that 6 of those guys didn't even register. Now, a couple of them are probably the FCS dudes. But the ones I took today, these linemen, I was more impressed with the pickup Thursday of the Torricelli Simpkins from North Carolina Central, the MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Year, than I was with the guy from Oklahoma who saw action in 3 games last year for like 5 snaps against Arkansas State and West Virginia. And this Alabama dude he's seen no action. He's literally seen no action. He has no recordable stats in 3 years. So I mean, comparing it to the talent we've got right now, I mean, if Tonka Hemingway or Alex Huntley played for Alabama, do you think? I mean, they probably would not be starting.
No, they won't.
But do you think they'd have no stats in 3, 4 years?
I'm sure they'd get rotated in. I mean, they wouldn't start, but they'd get rotated in every once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This dude was even. So to me, it just seems like we're just stacking up bodies.
Yeah.
Well, but to be fair, and Billy makes the comment here, FCS dudes South Carolina picked up could be a big help. Look, people were mocking with Juice Wells, and when he came in, like, I know there are Clemson people that are like, what the hell they're getting? Was it from James Madison? Wherever the hell he was from. You have to take into account, is your coaching staff capable of going out and getting guys where they can shine them up like they did with the Juice Wells, and they're able to dust them off and make them good? Just because, and what Jackpot said makes a lot of sense. Just because you went to Alabama, if you didn't play, what the fuck? Who gives a shit? You got to play in the spring game. Great.
You got to be LSU's. You got to be LSU's defense in practice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why. Just because they went and played somewhere great at a big school, that doesn't mean that they're going to mesh well into your system. And these guys like the Missouri, the Ole Miss running back, Duke. What is it? I don't remember the kid's name. But he's
Judkins.
Yeah, Judkins. Yeah, he's considered like the number 1 running back, and everybody gushes about how great this kid is. He's going for money. Do you think he gives a flying fuck about your school? I think he will develop turf toe after game 4. If wherever he goes, they start 1-3, and he's not going to be put into an adequate spot where he can get good TV time so he can be seen by NFL folks. I believe that.
From what I understand, he got salty because Lane Kiffin and them were bringing these transfers in, and they were getting better NIL deals than him, who's been there for a couple of years and has the most rushing yards in the SEC. And if that's true, I can understand why he's pissed off about it.
Well, but I can also appreciate Lane Kiffin saying, "Don't like it? Fuck it. Bye. You can be replaced, sir," because he's only going to be there one more year anyway.
Fuck it. He needs a running back.
You think Lane Kiffin won't get a good running back to come and play for him? You're out of your damn mind.
Well, I mean, at this point, I mean,
I'll tell you what. I'll put out something right now. It's January 7th. All right, we're 8 months from the season. Whoever is the Ole Miss running back next season will finish in the top 6 in rushing for the SEC. Right now, guaranteed. Whoever their number one running back will finish in the top 6 in rushing in the SEC next year, because Lane Kiffin can develop offensive talent.
It's a plug and play system.
Exactly, which is why Junkins can take his ass on.
It's kind of like a gimmick offense.
Well, and that's fair, but it doesn't matter who's there. They're gonna get yards. It's just the way that it is. You want to go and try to get more money? Have at it, sir. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Go play for go have a season. I mean, I'm not mocking Kentucky, but go to Kentucky. Go wherever the hell you want. We don't need that nonsense here. We have a foundation. We have an identity of what we're gonna do. We're not some fly-by-night set of horse shit. We know what we're gonna do.
Fly-by-night.
We'll plug in some, yeah. We're gonna have all that in the mix there, and we know what we're gonna do. If you don't want to be part of that offense, fine, fuck you. Next. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love Fireball. He says, fuck Kiffin, though, because I bet he won't have 13 at his next school. Yeah, that's true. 1,300 yards. Maybe. I highly, highly believe that. Unless he goes to Alabama, which I don't think he's going to go there, but who knows at this juncture. All right, Sporty, you got anything else for the show, man? I got some folks that are waiting, buddy.
All I'm going to say now is just I think we're going to have a decent national championship game tomorrow, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
All right, please subscribe to Gamecock Sporty's channel.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you guys later on. All right, let's go with Rob as an SEC bias. What do you have? Jesus Christ, what is this? The belching show? What's going on,
drinking?
man?
Yeah, sorry.
You've been
Jack
drinking
Pot's
some
over
soda
there.
or something?
He's over there drinking some ass.
But
Got a beer. Have you noticed on Twitter? I noticed a lot of the Gamecock people. They like to take pictures of food and tag this Gamecocks Eats account in it, and every single one of them's either got to have a liquor drink or a bourbon bottle or something in the background. I'm like, Jesus Christ! I'm like, everybody, your obsession with whiskey is just, it's nuts.
I think it's kind of in the mainstream right now. To be
It's
honest,
like a status symbol to like have your bottle of bourbon there, and like
It's a status
people look-
symbol. Yeah, I already told you, it's bacon, beards, and bourbon. As for me, I'll just chow down on my old Miller Lite here.
hey, nothing wrong with that. It'd look better if it was a
Nothing wrong.
Coors.
I know, it's kind of like the Jeffersons. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But as you know, I'm not afraid to partake in the old 100 proof during Gamecock games.
Oh hell yeah! That's liable to put you down in the old recliner though, Jackpot. I done seen you fall asleep on stream one too many times when you consult.
Yeah,
the
I did several years ago during the Auburn game at home when we beat them. And Uncle Lou calls up the next Monday and says, "What was your favorite play in the game?" And I'm like, "The one where we took the lead on them."
He's like, "No, it wasn't."
No, it wasn't. Why? Because I watched you not watch it. Classic.
I'll tell you, go through, if you're new to the channel, the Carolina Jackpot archives are some of the best anywhere on YouTube, and I think Rob will attest to that as well.
Oh yeah.
So my favorite, I say one of my favorite things, but there's been some silliness that goes on Jackpot streams. Here are some of the things that I can remember. He gave out my phone number on the stream one night. That's thing number one. And then, like,
I remember him calling you after the Carolina game when you were like,
yeah,
"I'm
he called me after the game. I'm literally on the radio, but I stop and take his call and be like, dude, I'm working. And he's like, oh, well, we're live. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here, Kale? I'm on the radio. There's that. Him falling asleep with half of his ass hanging out. That's pretty good too. I mean,
you remember when he ran
like,
up and down
people
the
are calling
street
me and
holding
they're
his
like,
flag?
Yeah, that's funny too. But
That was when
people
we made the
calling me
Final
like,
Four. Might be doing it
yeah.
again this year.
And
Well, but
what is that?
they're literally, hey, Jackpot fell asleep on the stream and his ass is hanging out. Well, what the fuck am I? He lives in
I
Simpsonville,
was just trying to get closer with my audience, you know.
so you show them your asshole. Great.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, what better way to get acquainted?
Carolina Jackpot
Anyway.
is he's one of the best streamers out. But you know,
Yeah,
what,
I have some archived, or I have some live streams there too that aren't published, or they aren't public, but they're kind of unlisted. So there are some people who've asked me for links to some of those, and I would send them links to them.
yeah, I'll tell you, you need to stitch together a montage of your best moments throughout the year after each season. You just take the
There's
best
some
moments
stuff
from each match.
that's not out there. I mean, there was
Rob was kind of doing some of that this year, but I mean,
I
kind of
did, and
let off.
I got busy with it. But I mean, I think that there's a couple of things that I'm going to do this up for the next season that are going to be. I'm going to do the jackpot mix every week because we got some decent traffic out of that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
also the new NCAA football game is coming out, and we're going to have the simulations with that, and those will stream directly. We'll do. I know we're going to do the South Carolina and the Clemson game, and we may pick the game of the week. I don't know. But we'll definitely stream those so you get an actual video game simulation out of it. So we're going to do that too. That's in the mix down the road. But
Well,
yeah,
one of the reasons I called in, first of all, Gamecock
Mm-hmm.
Sporty, if you're listening, your football knowledge is up there. If you feel the need to go after anyone, you fucking go after them with the hell of Hades, all right? Because you can stand toe-to-toe with any of them. This guy literally has a playlist of college football, like theme song, like fight songs, and he knows them right off the bat. It's the most impressive thing you've ever seen. But Gamecock Sporty, give them hell, don't back down. But another thing I wanted to talk about is that this last stream, all right, there was a lot of just kind of cope and delusion, it seemed, from the Tennessee Orange. So I wanted to talk about
you talking about the one that I did by myself on Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
There's a ton of it, and there wasn't a whole lot of pushback. So I wanted to go ahead and address a few points. Okay. You all right, Rob?
Yeah. I was talking. I was flirting with my wife.
This will mainly be for you
I
because you
wanted
were
to
there.
mute that. But anyway, go ahead. What you got?
So point number one, Rob.
Sure.
Clemson's defense, not this season, but this past season, remind me, they had a lot of NFL players, right?
Yeah. Clemson's defense has had some NFL guys. Yep.
That's what I thought. Joe Milton, he did all right in that game, right? And we seem to remember a lot of hype after Joe Milton, him being in Heisman conversations.
Well, I mean, and I stand by this, and a lot of people are. I came around to it this year, but I said before the Orange Bowl game last year, bowl games do not matter.
Yep.
Not anymore. And I caught such hell for that. And the purist of, well, you just don't like college football. And I'm like, in the grand scheme of things, they don't matter anymore. Your team that you put out there in August isn't going to be there. You got all these guys that are completely opting out and moving on. It's not the same.
Well, and
but
that leads me
the Clemson
into my
defense
point.
that day, I think, had three of their starters that were out. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Tennessee. They won that game. Should Clemson have won? I mean, they could have won. I don't know if those three starters on defense would have made a difference. I don't know. But Tennessee won the game. It's very important to them. As Uncle Lou says, they haven't won anything since 1998, so they can hang a banner up there next to the most penalized program in the SEC over the past 20 years. They can hang another banner up there. We beat Clemson in a bowl game.
Well,
I mean,
Rob,
if that's what's important to you.
What that brings me to my point, though. So
Sure.
Tennessee, this is all Chris was talking about. Oh, Iowa, they got NFL players. They're better defense than anyone in the SEC. And look at how Nico did. Milton.
Yeah, but I think he was. I think Chris.
I know,
from
but just
Georgia,
hold up.
that,
Let me round it
okay,
together.
go
Let me
ahead.
round it together.
All right.
Milton did arguably better versus Clemson. I would say so, especially passing the ball. And same conversation. Oh, Milton for Heisman. Wait for next year. He can throw the ball 80 yards. Milton came
On his
out.
knees.
He was average all season long. So it's like they're stuck in a time loop. They forgot all about last year, all the hype they put on Milton after the bowl game, and they're just doing the same thing over with Nico.
In fairness, I think they're just looking for something to latch onto that will try to bring them up. And I think that's I think that's the same way with not just the Tennessee fan base, but I think with a lot of fan bases. There are Clemson fans right now that are about to jizz themselves over this young linebacker that's coming in.
Sammy Brown.
Yeah, Sammy Brown. They're literally like, this guy. Somebody said in a thread the other day, he's going to be better than Levon Kirkland. I literally laughed at them openly. You think that this guy coming in as a freshman who's never hit a college player before is going to be better than someone that's in your ring of fucking honor? You're out of your goddamn mind.
Well,
until he actually gets out there and hits people.
He's probably hit a couple. They played Buford. But I think Sammy Brown will be decent. The one good thing about him is he's really athletic. He's actually a damn good running back too. I don't know if you've seen any of his offensive stats. He's a pretty good running back. But another thing I wanted to say, they kept touting 29-10 or 29-11 versus South Carolina. They failed to mention that they have one more win over South Carolina since 2005. All right? It's been a 50-50 rivalry since South Carolina started taking football seriously.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But on that front, the real Tennessee fans that are out there, they know that their program has been the shits for the past decade at least. So they can tout that 29-11 record, but the ones that actually have watched a snap of football, they'll know that that's kind of
well, and that's what both of them last night.
When they're not, I found that a lot of these fan bases, when they're not always winning games against you on the football field, they'll try to win the game against you at the I don't know, the game of Winsipedia, I guess it is.
Yeah.
James Thompson asked, why isn't Brian Dawkins in your ring of honor? There's a lot of things out there that I've been told. I believe it's because he doesn't have his degree.
Oh, you gotta graduate to get in?
I believe you have to have your bachelor's degree to be part of the Ring of Honor at Clemson. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's part of it. But you know what? I think that if you have, they have if you win a Heisman Trophy, they've got the Heisman statue at wherever that Heisman Trophy statue, whatever. I think that if you have a Hall of Fame NFL player that played at your school, you should have a statue for that. And the idea that they don't have that at Clemson is an absolute shithole shame. Right up there in front of that, the tiger that they've got pointing to the sky should be a statue for Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, they put up a fucking Disney statue before they took care of their own player.
Exactly. Put up, and there's nothing against the tiger statue, but Brian Dawkins, he should be standing there next to the damn gate where everybody gets out to go to the Rock. It should be a fucking statue.
He's
of Brian
probably our best player ever, right?
As far as in the NFL, I would say absolutely he's in the Hall of Fame. But you should have that guy right there, and they should touch Brian Dawkins' shoe as they go into that damn stadium. That's the way it should be.
Volcor, new chatter over here, but not void of dumb things to say. Says talking about the Gamecocks, Tennessee. I assume. Too bad. So sad. Overall, it's a one-sided series. It's not even a rivalry.
That must have been before my comment.
I guess that's why you people bumped your gums about it for an entire fucking off season and wore special uniforms.
You have one more win since 2005, Volcor. Your program is mid-tier. We're on the same level.
Special uniform for a rivalry.
Hey, Billy is a logical Tennessee fan, and he's up against it as far as his time in the old folks' home. What do you got for the program, Billy?
Oh, I was just going to ask Rob, SEC, are we cherry picking wins and losses now, or are we just?
Well, are you counting wins from 1903, or are we going against recent fucking history? I mean, does a win in 1903 contribute?
Why don't you just go with the last 2 years and make you 1-1? How's that? You feel better?
How about we talk about wins that recruits would have actually seen? not wins that
You
your
feel
grandpa
better if you're
saw,
1
Billy.
and 1? Let's go with 1 and 1. You're 1 and 1.
What do you mean? What does that mean? I'm 1 and 1.
You're cherry picking dates. The past 20 years or the past 5. Look, why don't you just go with in the past 2 years? That would make South Carolina 1 and 1. You
That's
feel
fine.
better?
We'll roll with that.
You feel better, but actually you're 29 and 11.
Hey, why don't we go with this, sir?
I don't get.
And
You're,
I'm
you're
not.
not making
I'm
much
not
of a point
mocking
here.
here.
You're cherry picking years. I'm telling you,
I'm
just
giving
go with
you
the
a
last
span
2.
of the last 20 years of your program.
Okay,
It's not
well,
picking years. That's giving you a work profile of the last 20 years of South Carolina versus
and
Tennessee.
Tennessee has sucked, and we still beat your ass.
You have one more win.
You beat it
Okay.
half as many
We're
So
times.
how have
we're
you beat
29
our
and
ass?
11.
You have one more win
I
since
tell you what.
2005. We're on the
this
same
will,
level.
This will end this for you. Why don't you go Google all-time winningest programs in NCAA
Here we
football?
go. Here we go.
Yep,
The
here it is.
Here you go.
Exactly
That's
what I
right.
was saying.
That's right. That's
Dale,
right.
Wikipedia battle.
All right.
Exactly what I said.
Go Google.
Wikipedia.
Go
He has
Google.
no defense of his program now, so he's like, "Oh, go
In
look
the
at
last
the
20
wins from
years?
1915."
Can we-
Oh,
can
your
we-
programs are shit, Billy. What's
The
your
last
program
20
doing
years
now?
were terrible.
What's your
Okay.
program doing now, Billy?
We're terrible.
Okay,
Last
so
20
how?
years.
Why are you? So what the hell does it matter what you did in 1930?
Can
Well,
we
you're
step
the one
in for a
picking the
second?
years. Why do you pick your? Just go with the total program.
Well, under that logic, why don't we just talk about Harvard and Yale winning
Yeah,
more
Harvard's the
national
best
titles
team
than
ever,
everybody
man.
else?
Let's
Yeah,
go
exactly.
with how many SEC championships have y'all got? Is that
They haven't
relevant?
been in the you've been in the conference 50 more years than they have.
Yeah.
How is that a fair fucking argument there, Billy?
What did they do in the ACC?
Jesus
We
Christ.
won one.
man.
See,
We
we
were only-
can,
we were
we
only
can
in
take
the
20
ACC
years
for
or we can take
Sweden,
50
Chat.
years. How
Dude,
many
how
natties
about-
y'all got?
Sir,
And
I
this
was
is-
only in the SEC.
And this is
I
a
have a-
non-delusional
was in the
Tennessee
ACC
fan.
for 17 years.
Billy has some sense about him.
If-
The
if-
average Tennessee fan is worse than this. The average
Yeah,
Tennessee fan
so
is worse than
look,
this.
why don't we
I
just
just
go
come over
with
here
this?
to keep SEC bias in check here. I'm
Yeah,
telling
You
you,
didn't keep me in check at all. All you
If
said
you're-
was, "Oh, go Google the all-time winningest program."
There
What's
you
that
go.
doing for you in 2024, Billy?
That'll
What
let
has
you
that
know
done
where
for you the
are.
last 20 years?
Did y'all go to a bowl game this year?
No.
No.
Okay. Did you go
What
to
does
one
that have
last
to
year?
do? How does that contribute to your
It
argument?
has nothing
No,
to do with it, right? The
We've
fact
went
we're
to bowl
5 and
games the
7?
years that you missed them.
Yeah.
Henceforth, the 0
Didn't
and 8
you
SEC.
didn't you
Oh
go a
my
season
God.
without winning an SEC game?
Well, I can't wait for the 66.
Like within 10 years,
This was a-
didn't you
this
go a
was a
season
blip
without
on the
winning an
radar.
SEC
Listen.
game?
Quit
Billy, answer the
kidding
question.
yourself about your
Didn't you go
program
a season
compared to
without winning
Tennessee.
an SEC game?
Yeah,
They
quit
did.
kidding yourself
Okay.
South
about
Carolina's
your
When-
also
program.
been
when
to
did-
the
when
South
was the
Carolina's
last time
also
South
been in the
Carolina did?
SEC championship game since
I
then.
love it. South Carolina trashing other SEC teams. Who you got a
Yeah.
winning record
Other
against in the
SEC teams that you have one win more than since the last 20 years. We're
Since
on
the
the
last
same
20 years.
level.
Okay.
We're
So 29
trashing our
29 and 11.
equal. I'm
29
trashing
and
my
11.
equal right now, Billy.
29 and 11.
You're my equal.
So tell us, who do you have a winning record against in the SEC?
Well, I mean, it's simple. It's
Kentucky,
Vanderbilt,
Mississippi
Kentucky.
State, Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. What?
Mississippi State. Mississippi State. You got 3. I'll give you 3. But again,
And
I'm telling you,
what does
if
that
we'll
have to
just
do
go
with
with the,
anything that you've
see,
said?
you ask
or
a
I've
question
said?
if that has anything. Let's just go with the last 2 years. You're 1 and 1. You're
Oh, but-
50%.
That's
But why
better
don't
for us.
we go-
In the last 20 years, you at least have one more win. You're just contributing more towards my argument that we're
Why
equal.
don't we go with, if we're going with just silliness here, South Carolina hasn't lost 5 out of the last 12 to Vanderbilt. So
That's
true.
there's that. I mean, if they don't have a 3-game losing streak to Vanderbilt over time. That hasn't happened either.
Hey, Billy, also,
Yeah.
when's the last SEC championship you made?
I don't know, 2007 or something. I have to look it up.
Well, look,
See,
I have a way to make this easy, okay? And I think this should be with all rivalries, all records, whatever. Right now, we can use when did the HD era start? And it's a solid thing here because it gives you it's 25 years ago is when you first could the HD television stuff kind of took off, 1998. So since 1998, Tennessee is 17-9 against South Carolina. There's that. Yes, you've won almost twice as many games as they have.
And
I
we were
get
terrible. Horrible.
and that's fine too. But
Horrible.
I just this whole idea of we
Yeah, but we
dominated. we're
sat here and talked
almost
about you
there.
had 3 winning seasons under Butch Jones, yet you contend you were terrible. All
he
those.
he did. He had 3 losing seasons,
He had 3 winning seasons.
and he had some losing seasons too.
He had 2 losing seasons that
And he was going in the
sandwiched
wrong
3
direction.
winning seasons that you all forget to talk about when you just. I've never seen a team want to talk about how terrible they've been the past 15 years. They can't.
20.
At least I would try to cherry pick and pull out the good points.
We were terrible last 20 years. Horrible. If you look at the numbers. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, you were terrible a majority of those years, but you also had some good ones.
Yes, we did. I know. I'm just messing with SEC bias, but just so you know, SEC bias, to save you some clicking on the internet, Tennessee's 14th all-time win in this program.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't
Hey,
either.
Tell me how many recruits. Tell me how many recruits.
How many of those came in the wooden wheel era?
Well, all the teams are. It's all included. Where do you think South Carolina is?
All right, Billy. Now that you're telling me that, tell me all the coaches who got those wins in 1930, Billy. Who are the coaches that got all your wins in the 40s, the 20s, the 30s?
Well,
Name them. Just rattle those names off for me.
Still good. Let's go with the last 2 years. South Carolina.
He doesn't know a single one. So you're citing all these wins. You know zero. Like you know as little about those teams as I do. But you're hanging your hat on those wins.
The 1939 team, they went undefeated and unscored on in regular season. How about that?
Well, but Billy, just because you went to some of those games in 1939,
I know it was great.
We have the same concept that you have.
So what years did South Carolina win a natty? I can tell you Tennessee's. We started, last one was 98, 67, 51, 50, 40.
I personally think that the reason that a lot of Tennessee fans are upset is because since Don Staley's taken over, they've kind of made Tennessee women's basketball their bitch.
Don Staley,
I think they're kind of pissed about that.
You can't argue about wins. She's awesome. You got a great program going on.
Could be that too.
Great program. But you still Mayhem
Matthew in the comment section telling lies. South Carolina has no good players according to Jackpot, because when they hit the portal and then here with the dumb typing stuff, they were no good. What did y'all? Can both of you individuals sit there and tell me what I've made several videos where I talked about Mario Anderson Jr. hitting the transfer portal and people crawling up his ass. What did I have to say about him?
No, Kale defended him. Kale defended him from me, actually.
He was good. He was good. It's not his fault he played. I mean, he couldn't block for himself.
Matthew, you're way off, buddy. You need to update your Google or something, son. You're way off.
Yeah.
Mayhem Matthew needs to go back and run around and make some more videos where he was laughing in the little playground behind those government apartments he stays in.
Oh, Lord.
Damn.
All right. Well,
damn.
Damn it.
Well, I mean, that's where he was at. He was making some videos behind some government apartments I saw about a year ago.
All right. Well, let's. Gentlemen, I've got other folks moving. I want to move on, but go ahead. What you got?
But I want to recognize that Food Line in Cleveland, Tennessee now has Utz chips. They got a great display, and you can get 2 for $6.
Hell yeah. Well, you better get 4.
There was a Food Line in I knew there was an Angles there.
Not an Angles. We got Food City. We got Food Line. We got Publix. We got, there's a bunch of other ones.
Well, I wanted to let me say one more thing before me and Billy go.
SEC Bias wants to get one more and go ahead.
Yeah, let me say one more thing before me and Billy go. Billy?
Yeah.
Hold up. Hold up. Billy? The quarter zip is coming, buddy. Get ready. Go Cox. Go Lamont Paris. Go Mechie Johnson. Woo!
You forgot the Dylan Stewart guy. He looks pretty good.
Oh Lord!
He's talking about basketball.
Now that one I wouldn't be.
Billy, thank you, man.
I don't know that. I don't know that I would want that smoke, but I don't attack the Tennessee basketball program the way I do the football one.
No. All right, let's add Jordan to the show. Jordan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how are y'all?
What's going on?
Good, what you got, man?
Not much. Just chilling like a villain, drinking cold beer.
All right, what do you got for the program this evening?
No, I was just wanting to comment to Billy. You know, he came on here last week. He came on here again this week, and tomorrow night he's gonna be on Rooster Show crying. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Wah, 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 wah.
Billy's a shit stirrer. You think we don't take Billy seriously? Come on, man. He's like,
go get a sponge
like
bath, Mr. Billy.
He's like the old drunk uncle. You just keep giving him beer, and he'll be fine. Well, don't take Billy seriously. The guy ended his comments tonight with, "You can get Utz potato chips 2 for $6." His brain's not completely fucking there. Leave him alone.
What's wrong with that?
He was
wrong with that.
He was promoting Jackpot at the end of the conversation.
Yeah, well, everybody loves Jackpot, so
Yeah.
leave Billy alone. He just wants his tater chips and his beer. And
But I'm going to say something. I put out a video the other day. I just got started doing this thing. I'm going to say something. Jackpot might disagree. Rooster might disagree. But I'm just going to state facts. We have become a FCS recruiting program. Okay? It is what it is. What we are now a stepping stone to take one from the FCS to get 1 year on national television and play in the SEC and then move elsewhere and make money. That's what we've become.
yeah, but you know how to fix that, right? You still have to take those guys. You're telling me you wouldn't want another season of what Juice Wells brought you?
I would love to have another season, but good God,
All right,
Rob,
well,
he played. He didn't play half a season when he was eligible to play.
But the point is that you had that one season where he put up great numbers. And if you can get that, hey, if I'm just going to rotate these guys in and, you weasel, I mean, I don't want to use the term weasel, but you work that into winning 8 or 9 games.
Bobby the Brain Heenan out of this.
I know, right? But I mean, if you can move that into it and then, hey, you get to that 9-win season and then you keep building and maybe, you have some other recruits that are there that you can add some more guys to it. And then you get to that 10th win and you keep building. I don't have issues with that. If you can go find a damn Schrader that like Mizzou found that ended up leading the conference and rushing from an FCS school, why not go get that guy?
What, Rob? I don't either. 1 or 2 is fine, but I mean, I don't want to become the FSU. Would I love an undefeated season as a Gamecock fan? Absolutely, I would love that. But look at FSU; they're fucking trash. They're trash.
Are they trash because they won their division, or are they trash because none of their team, showed up for a bowl game? Which, by the way, bowl games don't matter. But FSU will be noted as the ACC champion for 2023.
I'm not saying what they did.
They had an undefeated season.
I'm not saying what they did this year was trash. I am saying if you're recruiting a bunch of guys from a lower level or from other schools that quit on one school, why would you think they wouldn't quit on you? And that's exactly what happened.
Okay. I mean, I guess I get that. But if you don't recruit and don't have that talent there, once again, you need to have the mentality that these bowl games don't mean shit unless you're playing in the playoff. Okay.
I mean, you got to take the chance.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm more impressed with some of the guys that Beamer's brought in from some of the smaller schools. The Coastal Carolina guy, I like that one. I like this linebacker that they got in from Charlotte. I think he could be a stud.
I like the South Carolina State guy.
I like him too. I like the guy from North Carolina Central. I mean, conference lineman of the year. Offensive lineman of the year. I don't like. I'm not so sold on this Pitt pickup that doesn't have too much stats, nor the Alabama or the Oklahoma lineman they picked up today. Now, I mean, I don't know.
The tight end that was wishy-washy. He was between us and Texas A&M. I could care less about him either.
Well, he's a good player at his level. That's so. I mean, we'll see.
I agree with Jack.
I'm going to be as a Gamecock fan, I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I know the landscape of college football has changed drastically. We all know that. And it's not going back to where it used to be. It's never going to go back. If you follow the money, you'll follow the way it's going to go. We all know that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to come straight out and say it. Season ticket holder, whole family, every sport. I'm going to say it. I just don't think Beamer's the guy. I don't. He's got to prove it to me.
Well, and that's a fair thing to say, but when you talk about money, I don't want to hear that from any SEC school or any ACC school. If you're in a Power 5, the money that you get from TV, you have money. So shut the ever living hell up with all that.
No, I'm not saying money.
I'm just saying, but you're talking about where money is there. Money is not an issue for the University of South Carolina athletic department. They'll tell you they sell out 80,000 seats every game.
No,
if
Rob,
you do it at $100 a seat,
wait a minute.
I mean, they're making
a
shit ton of money there. So the idea of money is not.
You misunderstood what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
I said follow the money. I'm talking about the political part of college football. I'm talking about the NIL. I'm not talking about each university. Okay, that's not what
brother. The Garnet Trust has a shit ton of money too. It's like top 30 in the country.
But
as far as money that people put into it, there are a lot of people that don't want to see South Carolina go 5-7, sir.
You're missing my point. My point is the college football today will never go back to what it was 4 years ago because of the money. Politically, because of the money. If you follow the money, that's the direction it's going to go. That was my point. It wasn't South Carolina. It wasn't Florida State. It wasn't Clemson. It wasn't Alabama. That was not my point. My point is everybody's got to get used to the world we're living in college football.
Okay, that's fair. But I think South Carolina has the money to be a power is what I'm saying.
I mean, good God almighty, we put $5 million worth of damn lights. Hell yeah, we've got the money.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, then you and I agree on that. The idea that South Carolina can't compete because of money.
$5 million worth of lights in, we play like 3 night games a year.
Yeah.
I think this year it was 4. Look, with the Beamer not being the guy thing, hey, I'm right there with you. I mean, I think he makes wishy-washy decisions. I understand getting rid of the running backs coach. That running back room's been terrible. They went 13%. Their rushes went for negative yards in 2021, and it was 14% in 22 and 23. But I mean, if you're going to fire him, why are you keeping Lonnie Teasley and Greg Atkins around?
Don't get me started. I don't know if you've ever heard me live with anybody else or heard my videos. Do not get me started on that line.
Okay, why are they still there? And also, why is Ryan Day? What is his name? Luke Day, the strength and condition. Why is he still there when we had all these soft tissue injuries last year?
To
me, Hardesty would have been the last one to go.
I disagree with you a little bit about Luke Day, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because there was a lot of issues that he could not prevent, but the offensive line and the defensive line and the defense in totality was absolute pure tea garbage manure. I mean, it was. I don't even have words to describe.
He didn't have them conditioned. He didn't have them prepared for that game against North Carolina. How many players dropped like flies in that North Carolina game? Yeah, you lost one of your offensive linemen there. We lost Mo Cabo goes down again in that game. Evan Warry went down in that game, missed time. I think Juice Wells went down in that game, but then he came back. I mean, that was a dumpster fire.
It was a dumpster fire, but at the end of the day, I don't think it all goes back on him. I think it goes back again to the head coach. He doesn't have it. You know what? Let's call it like it is. He's not man enough to drop his nuts and make the decisions he needs to make and make coaching changes. And if he's going to live and die by this staff, that's going to be the end of his career.
Oh yeah, well here anyway, he can go back to being
I think I've said on the show I don't think that Beamer's the long-term answer, and a lot of people will get upset and say, and the first thing they'll say is, well, Dabo needed more time. Look, it's just
Dabo
some of the things that
won his side of the conference his second year.
Right. But and I know people are like, well, it's the SEC and it's harder and blah, blah. I just get tired of hearing that nonsense.
Rob,
the thing with Beamer is just the perception around him is that he's a clown. He's kicking coolers, breaking his foot. I mean, crying, just whining, the whole hot dog thing, and just comments like that. He just looks stupid, and he makes.
Rob, did you see?
program-
Did you see my video the other day?
Losing, you can't make it, you have to kind of walk a straight and narrow when you're losing, because people are going to make a kind of a mountain out of a molehill. But yeah,
As a diehard Gamecock fan, did you see my video the other day, Rob? I said the truth. I said what many Gamecocks won't say. Did you watch it?
I watched some of them. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know exactly which one you're talking about. I don't watch. I'm gonna be completely honest. I try to watch Jackpot's videos, and it's hard for me to keep up with all of it. And a lot of it is because I want to. Whenever I do a show, I want to have my own opinions, not steal from somebody else. To be completely honest.
Right. I appreciate that.
If I watched your video, I mean, I'll tell you which one it was. I just don't remember, to be honest with you.
Okay, you commented on it, so I think you watched it.
Okay, well, if I commented on it, then I probably watched it. Which one are you talking about?
Fact of the matter is, let me explain Gamecock fans to you. We don't have anything to hang on. Okay, all we have to hang on is a hope and a damn prayer. Clemson is a pain in my ass, like one of those ingrown hairs on the back of your butt cheek. That's what Clemson fans are.
I would have to imagine that Clemson is like, when you ever seen a dog take a shit and it gets caught in their butt hair, and so there's like a turd just hanging around and it won't go, and it's just kind of flopping in the wind.
And they keep running real fast.
Sit down on their ass and do the scoot across the damn ground to get
when they
it
get up.
dislodged. That's what. Clemson
When they
is.
get up, it hits them in the leg and they keep running. I understand what you say. But fact of the matter is, South Carolina, we don't have a damn thing to hang our hat on. Clemson, y'all are more superior than us. Hey, I said it. I just said it on y'all show. Y'all are more superior. Y'all are more superior.
Cool.
Well, I mean, Clemson's like South Carolina doesn't have no identity. Like Kentucky's always normally going to be a power running team with a good defense. Clemson's going to be a really good running team with a really, really good defense, especially stout defensive line. Ohio State's going to be a team that can move the ball. USC is going to be a team that can move the ball and is going to have problems on defense. It's kind of like we're just like, well, from year to year, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get.
No, here's what we are, Jackpot. We're the little engine that couldn't. We are the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's what we are.
I mean, I guess I could agree with that, but what Jackpot said makes a lot of sense. There's no set identity of what South Carolina is.
Never has been.
Well, but actually, I disagree with that. Under Spurrier, you had Spurrier came in his first year and said, look, I remember his first press conference. He said, I hope we win more games than we lose and we make a bowl game. And he's like, and he built on that and then kept going and going and going. And then he decided to stop recruiting. But the reality is that you knew what you had. You knew with Ellis Johnson, you were going to have that 4-2-5 defense where, you were going to sag and let them wear themselves out in between the 20s and kick field goals. You knew that's what you were going to get. You knew what you had on offense. He ran
the ball at South Carolina a lot more than he relied on running the ball at South Carolina.
Well, that's because he had great running backs. That was his position of power, and he was a smart enough guy to know, hey, I've got good running backs here. I need to do something with them.
Yeah,
he had Lattimore, and it's one of the best running backs he had there.
Mm-hmm. So, but as of right now, you don't have an identity. You got a coach. It's a bitch. Just basically the end of it. He kicks shit and the crying and the whining and everything else. And it's like, if he were winning, it would be completely different. If he were winning, it'd be like, oh, that's cute. Now it's just,
Well, I mean, who the hell blames in a press conference the damn construction going on in a stadium? Who does that? Who does that? But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all having me on.
He was just bitching because they were having a hard time hearing him. He was frustrated. Like I said, if we'd won that game, nobody would have thought anything of it.
I mean, he just got his dick handed to him by a dork, so he was going to be a little upset.
But I envy teams like Missouri. Jackpot does too. He talked about Tennessee last year. He got angry because we wish we would be where they were, but of course they fell off and we whipped the shit out of them. But at the end of the day, if they can do it, why can't we do it? Because I know the facilities. I've been in every square inch of every facility we have numerous times. We've got the money. We've got everything that anybody else can offer, and we cannot do it. That's what bothers me.
Appreciate it, man. You have a good night. All right.
All right,
Y'all
buddy.
too. Thank you.
All right, there you go. I mean, I've been on the record. I think that South Carolina can win at football, but I mean, I think you got to have the right.
I need these two bastards on this Sunday night football game to start scoring some points.
Did you took the over? Didn't you? The over 48?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking. I mean, they're your conference or division championships on the line. I mean, well, Buffalo got fucked out of 7 points on their second drive. So
Right.
there was a blatant pass interference on that tight end they didn't call. I don't know if you saw that. Like, he basically tackled him right on the goal line.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think South Carolina can do some stuff, but I
hauled in.
figure that out.
I think it was $130 today on a $50 parlay with the Panthers Bucks game to go under with the Bucks covering, and the Panthers. Jesus, what a shit show! I mean, shut out 2 games in a row. That's bad.
Their owners throwing drinks at people and getting fined $300,000.
He threw a drink at somebody?
Yeah, he was in the box last week and just threw a drink onto some fans or something like that and got hold on. Have you seen this video? It's actually funny. Hold on. I'll play it for you.
Our buddy Shane Cox 40 saw the Jets spin it, and he's like, I thought I was the only one with the double entendre of shitty teams to pull for, being the Gamecocks and the Panthers. But I'm thinking, buddy, they won today. They beat the Patriots for the first time since 2015.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find just the short. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I could just.
Josh Pinion says South Carolina is a woman basketball school, period. LOL. Okay, first of all, there are women basketball schools, not one woman. Second of all, that men's record ain't looking too shabby neither.
Yeah, by the way, the Clemson thing, they've gone to shit. They've lost. They're like 1-2 in conference with a win over Pitt. They lost on the road at Miami and then came home and were humbled by North Carolina yesterday.
Did they? I didn't watch that game. Did they get mouth pumped or was
they didn't really get? I mean, they lost. They lost by like 9 or 10 or whatever. But it was like it was the same old bullshit, with Clemson. It's like hold on, let's see here. I want to show you this video really quick of Tepper, but same old bullshit with Clemson though. Let's see here. Hold on, Jackpot. Let me show you this really quick here. With Tepper, pretty funny. Let's see. All right, so I think everybody can see that. Yeah, let me maximize this here. Full screen. All right, so there you go. Look at this Jackpot with him throwing the drink. Watch this. This is Tepper.
News we're following from the world of the Panthers today.
All right, here's Tepper.
David
Just
Tepper
do it.
in hot
Now
water
look,
tonight.
he's like,
the world of the Panthers today. Team
just threw it out onto the
Tepper in hot water tonight.
right onto the
after
Jaguar
he was seen throwing a drink on Jaguars fans during.
There, you the Jaguar fans.
Was that where was that game at? Was that a road game?
That was at Jacksonville. Yeah, let's see if they'll slow it down again.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he just got mad and threw down.
Clear what was in the
happening though, as we mentioned during the game in which
like,
Tepper's team failed.
Yeah, there you go. There's a slow mo. Here's my drink. Wow. The NFL fined him $300,000 for that.
They absolutely should have. I'd have crawled up there. I'm sorry I didn't crawl up there and beat his ass. Oh, fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the $300,000, he doesn't give a fuck. This is the same owner that went into Rock Hill and promised all this stuff and started building all this stuff for the Panthers training facility. And when he didn't get the tax break that he wanted, he just stopped construction immediately and said, fuck you, I'm out. This guy's a complete jizmob.
I mean, he'll end up moving that team.
Yeah, where's he going to move him to? I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm sure everyone would love to have a franchise, but where the fuck is he going to move him to? They're going to miss the days of Jerry Richardson just wanting women to come in and he play with their feet.
I'm trying to think of any metropolis right now that doesn't have one that.
Let's see here. Oklahoma City. They've got the
Yeah.
Thunder. Why not? I mean, they'd probably love to have a team there. That would be the first one. After that, the Birmingham Stallions do really well in the XFL, USFL, whatever the fuck it's called. They draw a lot of fans. I mean,
That's
if
a
we're
pretty
talking
big
about other
city. I
teams,
mean, people don't talk about it. It's pretty big.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is there anywhere
I
in
don't know.
Texas I mean, that Texas is pretty well covered up, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's already a team for Arizona with Phoenix. I don't know if anywhere else they could go. I mean, Oklahoma City would be number one because they've already got an NBA franchise there. I don't think he's going to move
What
them though.
about What about Portland, Oregon? Is that not I mean, I got some really good
Will
college.
here may have the win here. San Antonio in Texas. That's a huge city without a football team.
Do they not go for pro football? Portland, Oregon. I mean, the
Yeah,
Seahawks have a huge following. That's not that far away.
yeah. Well, but I mean, it's in Oregon though. I don't know. Fireball with a good comment here. Will DJ Uyunglele be good at FSU? Who fucking knows? He's third time's a charm for this guy. I don't know. He may come in and be the greatest, or he could be a piece of shit. Who knows?
I think he'll be better than any of the two quarterbacks that they had playing after Jordan Travis went down. How about that?
There you go. That's a fair thing.
I know it's not setting the bar real high, but I think it's an achievable bar.
It's an achievable bar.
It's an achievable bar.
Do you want to put your pick out there for tomorrow? I like Washington to win, and I like the over.
They say defense. I don't know about the over under. I'm not going to make a prediction on that. They say defense wins championships. I think Michigan wins it. I think they're going to get them. I don't because I was concerned with the Washington that we saw, especially in the fourth quarter on last Monday night.
Yeah. Well, and with that though, Harbaugh's been looked at by several teams. You think he's going to stay or is he going to go? I think it's his last game tomorrow night.
I would think so. Who is it? Is it the Chargers? Who was it that wants him?
I mean, everybody but the Panthers wants him, from what I'm told. The Commandos, where's the Commanders? I call them the Commandos, but
Trey Flowers says, is South Carolina going to get a quarterback out of the portal or no? I mean, they've tried. The one that I thought that Malachi Nelson guy would be really, really good. He ended up at Boise State, which makes sense. I mean, I don't know why anybody would come from the West Coast USC all the way over here. It's kind of silly. They did the old dipsy do, dosey do thing with AJ Swan from Vandy, and he didn't end up coming. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I heard they're still talking to some. They need to find one. They need to because I mean, Lenore Sellers is a dual threat quarterback. These dual threat guys get hurt. They've been very, 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 very lucky that Spencer Rattler wasn't injured last year. Or the year
well,
before.
and that was going to be my next thing. Spencer Rattler took a beating last season.
And South Carolina is known for having quarterbacks to get injured. We've been able to take a couple of years reprieve from that with him, and people are quick to forget stuff. But I mean, you had the Luke Doty thing; he was hurt. Jake Bentley got hurt. Missed the entire season. I mean, it happens.
I mean, Connor Shaw had some injuries he dealt with.
He was banged up a lot. He was sick a lot. He was sick a lot. He was the walking case of the flu.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll see how that goes. I think but you got Michigan. I've got Washington tomorrow, and I think that Harbaugh's leaving. You think he's leaving too? We'll find out where he goes. So there's that. Anything else you want to go over this evening, Jackpot?
I don't know. I mean, what do you think of what kind of Clemson football news do we have right now? We don't really have much. They don't do a lot in the off season.
They don't do a lot in the off season, but I think that I did find something amusing a little bit ago. Is I think Rivals rated Sammy Brown as like a 4-star prospect now, even though they had him as a 5-star prospect. And they talked about him being a generational talent last October. Now he's a 4-star prospect. But then I see the same thing happen with certain Gamecock prospects. They come out and like Mizzou's another example. The guy that they had, that their big pick, was number 1 in the country. Then he goes to Mizzou and all of a sudden he drops to number 4 in some services. And I'm like, these people that put these ratings things together
Are you talking about
are
Williams or
terrible.
Wanda?
Yeah, they're terrible. They literally, they have no idea about any of these things as far as the football end of it. And a lot of them are just guys like you and I that go and watch high school games and they think they know better. Half of them don't know shit about football. And they're just, oh, well, I think because this assistant coach told me this, or I'm loyal to X school and I think he's going there, I'm going to write him up as being better. And it's like, man, just shut up. I wish we had a better way of seeing, like, there's certain guys that you can take that write some of these things and you can research them and be like, oh, this guy was, he was a line coach for XYZ or whatever. So maybe he knows what he's talking about. But some of them are literally just dummies is the way that it boils down to. And it's just stupid. Is that your cat, Jackpot? What's your cat's name?
Calvin.
You named your cat
Look at
Calvin.
him. He's freaking huge, man. He's a beast.
He is. So someone asked about,
cat weighs like 20 pounds.
yeah, I think Harambe has gotten that big. I don't know. She's a big bitch too.
Yeah, this cat's very large. It's much bigger than the pug.
That people talking about Dabo Sweeney's black eye, and somebody asked me what
he said he got in a pickup basketball game.
Yeah, he was playing pickup basketball with students on campus and
But
took an elbow to the eye and had to get stitches on his eye.
Was he playing it with members of the media? Because he had that whole thing over at his house a few years ago, or playing basketball or whatever.
I have to tell you what my wife just said. When I said he got hit in the eye, she goes, I remember when it happened to somebody else because I got hit in my eye when I played basketball. And blah blah blah. The wife doesn't forget shit.
Jerry Wells says the big old dog good to the cat. Yes, I mean, well, he doesn't really. They don't interact a whole lot. In fact, I got both of those, Ziggy and this cat. I got them both right before the pandemic, back in January of 2020, within a week of each other. Both of them were rescues from the old Anderson County Animal Shelter.
So we got our black cat. I told my wife wanted the cat, and I told her we can get it if we can name it Harambe after the great gorilla that was shot in Cincinnati because he was trying to parent a kid when the parents for the kid were actually not parenting, and Harambe ended up taking a bullet for it. So I wanted to name Harambe this cat. We should have called her COVID because we got her right when the pandemic started.
What was that, back in like 2017 or something?
Yeah, Harambe, like the kid climbed the rail, fell into the enclosure.
Fell in the gorilla pit.
And the gorilla was just sitting there like guarding him because he didn't want anybody to hurt him. And the parents are like sitting there like, oh goodness, we fucked up as parents. And now the gorilla was literally parenting their kid for them. And Harambe ended up getting shot for that kid. And
Where did
that's
this happen at?
The Cincinnati Zoo.
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
They should have brought in Dr. Johnny Fever to referee the situation.
I spearheaded a campaign to have, I think it was one of the koalas at Riverbank Zoo here in Columbia named Harambe, and they point blank sent me an email saying, it's not happening. Get over it.
They said that?
Yeah, they sent me an email. We're not naming him Harambe, sir. Why not? I'm all about the fallen.
Well, that's just shitty. And they could have
shitty.
told you they'll take it under advisement or something.
Yeah, they could have just ignored me. That would have been good too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let's see what this pug is up to.
Yeah. Oh, we're checking on the pug. Oh, the pug's just chilling, Jackpot. That's Wheezy, right?
Yeah, look at her.
She looks happy.
She is.
Ziggy's being Ziggy.
He's sleeping. That's what he does. That's what he do.
Yeah, they went out of the way to make me feel unappreciated. Good point there. Rob has an SEC bias.
Who made you feel unappreciated?
The Riverbank Zoo, because I didn't want, So look at Jackpot with all his mini helmets.
We're starting the mini helmet collection out. We've got 6, and I've got 2 more of them that are coming on the way. But yeah, the other week I picked up Rutgers and Kentucky. So I've got App State coming. It's a matte black helmet. I've got West Virginia's 2022 Throwback Edition Country Roads helmet. It's the helmet that they wore in the We Are Marshall type movie. So that one looks good. I was looking at some of these. So there's some weird ones. There's like an Appalachian State helmet from circa 1982. It's like a gold. I mean, it's like a Notre Dame gold with just a black A on the side of this helmet. And the A is capped with snow, like a mountain. And I'm like, for 1982, I mean, you should go up and look it up. I thought that helmet was really kind of before its time.
I'm with you on that, I guess.
A lot of people, I mean, they didn't have those kind of imaginations to do stuff like that in 1982. It was really plain.
That's true. Or with a good
Thomas says,
comment here.
Jackpot, are you going to piss and sink? No, I was going to show people my dogs.
R says everyone should send a mini helmet of your favorite team to Jackpot. Jackpot, I mean, that you would accept that, right? If they want to add to your helmet collection, why not?
Oh yeah, I would. I need to get a PO box set up.
Yeah.
We
should do that
to get gifts. Not that I've gotten many gifts in the past. Big Barney Ross, you sent some things. Big Barney, I still have to send you a Christmas present. I'll put it in a box, I guess, but it's in a gift bag that has the ho logo.
Well, I'm all about the hose. Why not?
Oh yeah, there you go.
I'm standing.
Other than that, I haven't gotten a whole lot of stuff, but
I'm afraid somebody sends you a bag of shit. That might happen.
Well, I mean, there's first time for everything, I guess.
All right. Well, Jackpot's been a great show.
Bags ain't gonna. They're not gonna hit the over.
Of course not.
They score 27 points between them in the fourth quarter.
They scored 21 in the second quarter.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? God dang, I hate football sometimes.
Yeah, Beth sent me a comic book that was an adult comic book. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Thank you for that, Beth. All right, well, I think it's time for us to head out, Jackpot. Both of us got shit to do tomorrow. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you later on.
See you guys. Thanks.